The Bridger Foothills fire in Gallatin County continues to burn. We have the latest. Plus, Cascade County Sheriff's Office is using the pandemic to push for more reserve deputies. How he hopes more boots on the ground will help the department. And Lewis and Clark County is getting a new jail facility. MTN takes an inside look at the building before it opens.
From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning and happy Monday. I'm Keely Van Middendorp. Grant Garland joins us now for a check of our forecast. Good evening, or good morning, Grant. I'm so used to saying good evening, but it's actually, about 12 hours difference than our normal time that we're on. So, Shannon and Jason are off. In case you guys are a little confused, we do not look like them. But we're just as classy as them.
I do wish I was taller.
I think next time we need to coordinate our outfits better because they're always so matching.
Very true. You know, I'll go back and look at my ties.
Right? Okay. That's good. Maybe for the second half hour. But it's supposed to be hopefully a beautiful day. It looks on the cooler side, though, unlike most Labor Days.
It is going to be on the cooler side, but we are going to be looking at a rainy day. We're seeing pretty much 100% chance of rain. We're looking at right now 44-degree temperatures in Cut Bank, 46 in Great Falls, 49 in Glasgow, and 46 in Jordan. Zooming on in here to really get a good look at where we're seeing the heaviest rain. Just north of Malta, right around Wolf Point, Circle, Jordan, Opheim, also Chester, Fort Benton. North of you guys, that's getting a lot of rain. And we're going to continue to see this. So far, altogether since midnight, we've seen over 3/10 of an inch of rain in Havre, over 2/10 in Cut Bank, and almost a half an inch already in Glasgow. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about the possibility of some snow. Not everybody's going to see it, not even us here in Great Falls. Maybe only a slight chance in Helena on early Tuesday morning. But Keely, I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to you.
Thanks, Grant. We'll check back in with you soon. Starting this Labor Day in Gallatin County with the latest on the Bridger Foothills fire. Evacuated Bridger Canyon residents will be temporarily allowed to return home today between 8 in the morning and noon. Now, if you know any residents affected, if you have any relatives or friends, we have more details on our websites, but officials will need to verify that returning individuals live in that area. Now, this morning, that fire is still ablaze and spreading as officials work to get that situation under control. MTN's Gabby Crevitt was at the incident command site Saturday. She joins us now with more.
According to the U.S. Forest Service, the Bridger Foothills fire is still active, reporting 0% containment.
The acres today are 7,000. Overnight we did an infrared flight, which gave us a lot better mapping. Yesterday's update had an estimate from the rapid growth yesterday, and the acres that came out of that infrared flight are 7,000 acres.
Residents have been evacuated from Bridger Canyon, Kelly Canyon, and Jackson Creek due to the growing fire. As of this morning, all unaccounted residents were reported safe. Now the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office is working on keeping residents away from the scene.
So we're trying to keep everything as clear as possible. So right now that's our focus. And then also we have fire movement. So that's a big concern for ours as well. But I've just been told that we have warned everyone and cleared everyone out. So things are looking really good.
Some of the biggest concerns now, winds that are picking up and the fire approaching Bridger Bowl Ski Resort. And of course, structure damage. We asked Sheriff Gutkin for a report on the number of homes that have been damaged. And he said,
dozens, easily. I've driven up through there and it's pretty devastating. We'll have a better idea tomorrow with the weather to be able to go up through and get a better count.
On Sunday afternoon, responders held a public meeting and said the cooler weather in the forecast should help, but won't solve all the problems.
This fire is going to be here. We're going to continue to manage it for the long term, obviously through September. Then even when that fire is completely out and we're able to get that thing contained, we're still going to be working with this fire.
Reporting in Bozeman, Gabby Crevitt, MTN News.
And officials reported Saturday there have been injuries as a result of that fire. The Gallatin County Sheriff's Office confirms the 3 firefighters who were trapped and had to deploy their fire shelters as the fire burned through their location Saturday have been released. They were able to walk out after the fire passed, and they were taken to Bozeman Health for medical evaluation. Also in our fire watch this morning, a house fire broke out Sunday on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. No one was inside the house except for 3 dogs. Don't worry, the dogs did make it out safely. The fire broke out around 4 p.m. According to the homeowner, a small grill that hadn't been used in over a year had leftover coal and direct sunlight somehow sparked a fire. Investigators said the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the backside of the house. One of the neighbors, Heath Johnson, noticed the fire and began spraying it with a hose. He was able to get 1 dog out of the house until fire units arrived on scene and saved the other 2. The West Valley Fire Chief says Johnson is a former volunteer firefighter and made a big impact from preventing further damage to the home. Well, today is Labor Day, and that means some more time off for a longer weekend. Labor Day celebrates the contribution of workers to American society. The U.S. Department of Labor says it's unclear who came up with the idea, but it started with unions. The Central Labor Union appears to have planned the first Labor Day in New York City in 1882. It became a yearly tradition, and municipalities and states began to officially recognize it. In 1894, Congress made Labor Day a national holiday that falls on the first Monday in September each year. And new this morning in Cascade County, while most sheriff's offices within the state of Montana have a reserve deputy program, not all of those programs continue to grow over time. The sheriff's office is using recent struggles within the county and detention center as motivation to do just that. Although the reserve deputy program has been a part of Cascade County Sheriff's Office practically since its inception, its membership has remained in the single digits in recent years. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter plans to expand the reserve deputy force to around 25 members this year, and the hopes he can use the reserve deputies' diverse backgrounds to the office's advantage. Slaughter hopes this will offer volunteers a chance to better understand the role of an officer and give the sheriff's office a chance to learn from the public.
Here at the Sheriff's Office, we don't believe that we are an authority figure over the public. We believe that we work for the public. And what a better way to show that by having members of the public come literally do our job with us.
We'll have more with Sheriff Slaughter coming up later on Montana This Morning. Well, in Helena, Lewis and Clark County is getting ready to unveil its new jail, but first they invited community members for a sleepover. 8 individuals, including our own MTN's Alexia Guayo, were screened over the weekend for COVID before beginning the jail sleepover. They were guided by detention officers and Sheriff Leo Dutton as they explained the new features of the jail, like kiosks and tables for inmates, as well as ADA accessible cells. Lewis and Clark voters approved the $6.5 million bond in 2016. We have more on the jail improvements and the sleepover on our websites. It's now 4:37 on this Monday morning, and still to come, we bring you the first of a 2-part series as our chief political reporter takes a closer look at the facts behind the rhetoric and the latest flood of TV ad attacks. A Campaign 2020 update is next.
We are looking at temperatures falling as we go throughout the morning. By 8 a.m., 46 degrees. We're going to be looking at a lot of rain. Also by 11 a.m. down to 43. For our friends in Helena, we're going to be looking at 52 by 8 a.m. dropping to 47 by 11 a.m. with plenty of rain.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time is 4:42 on this Monday. And with just 2 months until Election Day 2020, Montana's closely watched U.S. Senate race is entering its home stretch. But as the COVID-19 pandemic has severely limited in-person campaigning and candidate rallies, much of the battle between Republican U.S. Senator Steve Daines and his Democratic challenger, Governor Steve Bullock, is being waged on the TV airwaves. In the first of a 2-part series, MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison takes a look at the facts behind the rhetoric and the latest flood of TV attacks.
Governor Bullock entered this race with relatively good approval ratings, and a big part of the Republican strategy is to go negative and take that down. Like this ad from Senator Daines' campaign.
Bullock supports government-controlled health care and a carbon tax. He supports sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, and he supports Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's liberal gun control agenda. And he's ready to help them pass the largest tax hike in American history.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. But there's more from outside Republican groups, like this from the Senate Leadership Fund.
Bullock stacked his coronavirus relief task force with his own campaign donors, and many of them stand to benefit. News reports found just 13% of Montana's relief funding had actually reached small businesses and towns by late July.
And this one from the National Republican Senatorial Committee.
An ambitious governor who exploits Montana taxpayers, like the $14 million in state contracts paid to his brother's company, using state troopers as his personal security detail while abandoning his job to run for president. Bullock did find time to veto a bill that would have saved seniors $21 million on their Social Security benefits.
Let's start with that last ad. His brother's Butte-based engineering company did get those contracts, but that was long after Bullock's brother sold his financial interest in the company, although he still sits on the company board. The NRSC has provided no evidence that the contracts weren't properly awarded. State troopers did accompany Bullock on presidential campaign trips, as they do everywhere, under an agreement with the state Justice Department. Bullock agreed to pay the Highway Patrol's incidental expenses for out-of-state travel during his presidential campaign. And the $21 million? That was a tax cut bill that Bullock indicated he would veto, because he said the state couldn't afford it, and Republicans in the legislature passed it anyway. On coronavirus relief, about half of the 24 task force members appointed by Bullock to advise where the money should go have donated to his campaigns. And some of them own businesses that received relief grants, but they're a tiny fraction of the thousands of Montana businesses that have benefited. As for distribution of the money, nearly $300 million, or 25%, is now out the door, and hundreds of millions more have been allocated for schools, local governments, enhanced unemployment benefits, and other uses in the coming months. And finally, let's go through that raft of charges in the ad from Senator Daines' campaign. On health care, Bullock does support creating a public option, which would be a government-run health insurer to compete with private insurers, not exactly government-controlled health care. Bullock says he's never supported a carbon tax, although a climate solutions council he appointed may recommend one. Bullock also does not support sanctuary cities. He did veto a Republican-passed bill last year to ban sanctuary cities in Montana, saying it was unconstitutional and unnecessary because Montana has no sanctuary cities. On guns, Bullock does support universal background checks, including sales at gun shows, and a future ban on the sale of assault-style weapons. And finally, that largest tax hike in American history, that's presidential candidate Joe Biden's proposal to raise taxes on those earning more than $400,000 a year, a proposal that Bullock has not said he supports. With 2 months until Election Day, no doubt you'll be seeing more of these ads going after Bullock and his record. We'll keep reporting on where the candidates stand. And tomorrow, we take a look at a line of attack and support on Senator Daines' record on China. In Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. And some good news, you don't have to wait until tomorrow. Coming up on Montana This Morning, Mike will be back. He's going to take a closer look at ads that are both supporting and attacking Senator Steve Daines for his actions related to China.
Well, going throughout the morning, we're going to start off around 7 a.m., 44 degrees in Great Falls, 52 in Helena. As we go throughout the morning, temperatures will actually drop 43 by noon, 46 by noon, 43 in Great Falls, 46 in Helena by noon, into around the home again commute, 45 in Great Falls, 45 as well as in Helena, 51 in Havre. And then the real cool temperatures get here where we're looking at 38 in Great Falls, by midnight 48 in Helena. And we're going to be dropping down tonight to right around 30 degrees. And that's going to be our bus up forecast for tomorrow. Don't go away. Your full weather is next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
All right, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. We have been looking at from this time now to yesterday, we're looking at a 12-degree difference here in Great Falls, 8 in Helena, 17 in Billings, and 14 in Glasgow, 6 in Cutbank, and 7 in Havre. So temperatures are dropping, and they'll continue to do so as we go throughout the day. We are also going to be looking at a breezy day, 30 to 40 mile per hour winds possible in a lot of locations. So heads up. Definitely want to put some rocks in the pockets to make sure that you are staying grounded. Over the last 3 hours, we've been looking at heavy rain falling in places like Glasgow as well as Jordan. Starting to see some light rain in Great Falls. Helena just starting to get skirts on maybe just a few drops, but from Cutbank all the way to Havre, looking at rain this morning. And temperatures right in the 40s too for most of us. We've already seen over 3/10 of an inch of rain in Havre, almost 4/10 in Jordan, almost a ½ inch in Glasgow, and over 2/10 in Cutbank. Still looking at just shy of a trace in Great Falls, but we are expecting for that to really take a turn as we head throughout the next couple of hours. Today's highs 48 in Great Falls as well as Helena, 43 in Lewistown, 46 in Hayes, 53 in Havre, and 55 in Glasgow. It will definitely be a colder day than what we're used to. These are temperatures we really see in November. As we go throughout the next couple of hours, rain will slowly start to make its way down towards Helena and Butte. We're going to be looking at a lot of rain all throughout the day. Could see a little bit of a transition to snow, mainly though along the Great Divide. We're going to be looking at possibly even seeing just a few snowflakes in Hart Butte as well as Browning, but this is mainly going to be a rain event. As we head into tonight, we're going to see everything kind of start to break apart. We're going to be looking at the rain starting to end, and some of us could see a few snow showers, but they will be light. We're going to possibly be seeing that as we head into tomorrow mornings. Down in Helena, only looking at a slight chance to see any snow. In Great Falls, we're not expected to see any. And also in the mountains, we are looking at a winter weather advisory that's mainly going to be for those around 6,000 feet and above. Could possibly be looking at 6 inches of snow starting from 6 a.m. today to 9 p.m. tonight. Overall, we are looking at possibly getting a half an inch of rain for Great Falls. Highs today 48 in Great Falls, 48 in Helena, and 43 in Lewistown. We are going to be looking at mostly rain. So then tomorrow, mostly sunny, and then sunny skies from Wednesday through Friday.
Still to come on Montana this morning. They've got the meat. A fast food chain is saving carnivores a trip to the butcher shop. That story next. Stick around.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. In our consumer news, Dairy Queen's plan to sell blizzard-scented candles blew out in just 1 hour. The promotion to benefit the Children's Miracle Network was a viral sensation on Thursday. The 6 candles that smelled like caramel apple pie, blizzard, fudge brownie, and other soft-serve ice cream desserts were gobbled up quickly. Last fall, Dairy Queen did the candle promotion with snickerdoodle cookie dough blizzard and pumpkin pie blizzard. This year, the 6 varieties scented candles really sent DQ fans over the top. Dairy Queen hasn't released the fundraising total yet, but at $25 for each set, Children's Miracle Network should be in for quite a treat. 100% of all proceeds benefit the Children's Hospital charity. And Burger King announced plans for the future look of new restaurants. The burger chain started working on the plans years ago, but the pandemic motivated the company to speed them up. The new look locations will include multiple drive-through lanes, order lockers, curbside pickup, and even solar-powered canopies. Burger King plans to build prototypes in Miami, Latin America, and the Caribbean. The first one should be up and running sometime next year. And also, Christmas has come early for meat lovers. Arby's is selling 3 of its meats by the pound or half pound at 9 Atlanta area locations. It says COVID-19 sparked the idea since people can get the items right from the drive-thru. The cost is about $5 for a half pound and $9 for a pound, and the options include roast turkey, ham, and corned beef. Right now, this is just a trial run that ends later this month. I'm bummed that's not in Montana. Man,
yeah, I mean, this is working us up.
We got the beef here.
We do.
Right.
Where's the beef?
Right, that should be like a
Wendy's?
Montana brand. Like, we got the beef.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that's kind of interesting. And now I'm just hungry for like candles and blizzards and everything else really under the sun right now.
That Pop-Tart I need to eat.
Yeah, you brought a Pop-Tart for breakfast. That doesn't sound very good.
I did, and I ordered 2 sweet teas.
I hope you warm it up.
2 unsweet teas. It was the worst thing.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I woke up and it hit me like a ton of bricks.
But I hope at least you warm up your Pop-Tart. It's going to be a cold morning.
It will be.
I don't want to say it. Winter weather maybe is on its way.
Yeah, possibly for those in the mountains, looking at those right around 6,000 and above feet, could be getting a couple of inches of snow, but most of us will be looking at rain. As we head throughout the day, we will be looking at temperatures falling, so heads up on that. 43 degrees in Great Falls by the noontime hour, 46 in Helena, and we're going to continue to drop to around possibly 30 degrees tonight, so heads up. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a cold one. Need to bring in those inside plants and just make sure that you're bundling up in the morning. Overall tonight, 29 degrees in Great Falls, 30 in Helena, and we're going to be looking at tomorrow, though. Sunny skies come back into play. Temperatures warm up, 59 degrees. Still, on the cooler side, but I think I can deal with that. Wednesday through Friday, sunny skies, 84 degrees by Friday. So yeah, this is just our first taste of winter weather. Old man winter, he just wanted, you know, come in, have a little chat with us and say hello. And yeah, but don't worry, we are going to be looking at summer temperatures coming back into play on Friday.
All right, old man winter giving us a little passing wave there. You're looking live at Great Falls right now. There's more news ahead. Don't go away. Montana This Morning continues after the break. Emergency crews responded to a house fire in the capital city Sunday. More from the scene as a neighbor rushed to save lives. Plus, Cascade County Sheriff Jesse Slaughter responds to a judge's order disagreeing with his recent comments to MTN. And it's Labor Day, what the holiday means to our nation's workforce. Montana This Morning starts now.
From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning and happy Monday. Also happy Labor Day. I'm Keely Van Mittendorp. MTN's Grant Garland joins us now. We're in today for Shannon and Jason, so that's why it looks a little bit different on set. I must apologize. We're not as good as matching.
I know.
As them. So we'll get better next time.
Better.
But yeah, it's supposed to be a really chilly morning, Grant.
It is, yeah. Right now we are looking at rain with the cooler temperature, so heads up, definitely want to pack on some of those layers as well as have the umbrella if you are heading out in the next couple of minutes. 46 degrees in Great Falls, 44 in Cut Bank, 45 in Havre, and 45 in Glasgow. Taking a better look, we're seeing a lot of rain from Malta to Wolf Point down to Circle and out towards Jordan. Also, we're looking at some light rain from Cut Bank over to Chester. Great Falls starting to get in on some of the heavier precipitation, not quite as heavy as those north of Geraldine. Overall, we have seen over 3/10 of an inch of rain in Havre since midnight, looking at half an inch or more in Glasgow as well as Jordan, and over 2/10 in Cut Bank. Winds currently 13 in Great Falls, 20 in Cut Bank, 7 in Havre as well as Glasgow. And as we head throughout the next several hours, well, temperatures will continue to fall. By 11 a.m., looking at 43 degrees in Great Falls. And for our friends in Helena, we're going to be looking at temperatures steadily dropping throughout the day by noontime around 46. Keely?
Thanks, Grant. We will check back with you later. Beginning this morning with Fire Watch, a house fire broke out Sunday on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. No one was inside the house except for 3 dogs. Don't worry, those pups did make it out safely. The fire broke out around 4 in the afternoon. According to the homeowner, a small grill that hadn't been used in over a year had leftover coal, and direct sunlight somehow sparked the fire. Investigators said the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the back side of the house. One of the neighbors, Heath Johnson, noticed the fire and began spraying it with a hose. He was able to get 1 dog out of the house until fire units arrived on scene and saved the other 2. The West Valley Fire Chief says Johnson is a former volunteer firefighter and made a big impact from preventing further damage to the home. Well, on Friday, we told you about district court judges speaking out after MTN News reported a Cascade County man had been jailed for contempt of court after refusing to wear a mask during jury selection. In late August, that person was sent to jail after refusing to obey a Missoula judge's order to wear a face covering. We talked with Sheriff Jesse Slaughter following the incident, who disagreed with the substitute judge's order and told MTN News the mask order was contentious, to say the least. Slaughter also claimed he had been assured he would not be put in a position where deputies would have to arrest a citizen for mask noncompliance. But an order signed by Judges Elizabeth Best, John Kutzman, and John Parker sent to MTN Friday night denied any such reassurance. The letter says the sheriff misunderstood. Judges had told him they would prefer not to send otherwise law-abiding people to jail, but would take such action if necessary. The judges also said Slaughter created an impression that he and his deputies may be reluctant to enforce legally binding court orders designed to protect the public from illness and death. Sheriff Slaughter had this to say Sunday in response to the order.
I have the highest respect for the 8 district court judges. I consider some of them friends and colleagues. What happens in their court is completely their jurisdiction, and I respect that and I honor that. I just want to make sure that the public understood that I didn't agree necessarily with that one decision.
We will continue to follow this story and provide you with any updates or developments as they come. Well, turning our attention to the latest coronavirus numbers from around the state, we're seeing just under 8,300 or 8,200 total confirmed cases at last check and just over 1,900 active cases. Cascade County showing 373 total cases with 174 active. Lewis and Clark County reports 207 confirmed cases. Just 14 are active there. Well, many Americans might be traveling this holiday weekend to enjoy the final days of summer, but after seeing spikes in COVID-19 cases after other holidays, health officials are worried the pandemic could get worse if people aren't careful. Britt Conway has more. And we're having some technical difficulties this morning. Meanwhile, that story can be found on our websites. We'll, of course, have that story coming up later on Montana This Morning. Well, the time is 5:07 on this Monday, and just ahead, Cascade County Sheriff's Office is using the pandemic to push for more reserve deputies. How he hopes more boots on the ground will help the department.
Well, we are looking at temperatures 52 degrees, 6 a.m. We're going to continue to steadily drop by 12 p.m., 46 degrees in Helena. Don't go away. We'll be back right after this break.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time is 5:07 on this Monday, and the USDA has extended its summer meal program through the end of the year or until funding runs out, a change that will guarantee meals for capital city students at no cost to the family. The Helena School District had been using a pre-order system for meals given that students are only attending in-person learning part of the school week. The summer meal program extension will bring free meals to every child regardless of economic ability, and even if they're not in school. If they're 18 or younger, they qualify. Pickup locations will be posted on the Helena School District website, and signs will be posted at each location indicating where food can be picked up from. Children not in school will be able to pick up meals for the week each Wednesday. We have more details on our websites. Most sheriff's offices within the state of Montana have a reserve deputy program, but not all of those programs continue to grow. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt tells us Cascade County Sheriff's Office is using recent struggles within the county and detention center as motivation to do just that.
From COVID outbreaks among inmates to civil unrest within the community, Cascade County Sheriff's Office has had their hands full this year, and they're looking for community members like you to help.
What we're looking to do is find volunteers, people out there who want to serve Cascade County, they want to serve their community, but they get to do it in a law enforcement capacity.
Any Cascade County resident over the age of 18 can apply, whether or not you have previously had or plan to pursue a law enforcement career.
What we're really hoping we get is we get a good volunteer corps in our community that will then in turn bring their expertise from the private sector into our office, and we're really excited about kind of that public-private partnership. So we're hoping to get people that are in our community that maybe have an expertise and want to come use it in our office, or those that are just really interested in a career in law enforcement, and this is a good way for them to get started.
Sheriff Slaughter believes swearing in more reserve officers will benefit the office.
It's a great force multiplier for us when we're in maybe a crisis mode. We have a situation that we just need massive manpower, we can have it. And then there's also the public relations factor to it. They'll often be serving in our schools, at rodeos, at different events.
The position will be advantageous for its officers.
People really have a sincere want to serve in our communities. And now they have the opportunity to get back to their community and serve and get that fulfillment. But they also get the opportunity to be part of us. They also get the opportunity to learn about why we do things we do. And they can be ambassadors to our community.
Applications for the Reserve Deputy program are open now. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter said he hopes to swear in between 10 to 15 reserve deputies right here in front of the Cascade County Courthouse in the upcoming months. Reporting in Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
All right, well, good morning. Looking at a lot of rain making its way to the area. Glasgow, Jordan, seeing already half an inch of rain for you all there. Looking at some light showers starting to enter Great Falls. Still a few little specks in Helena as the rain continues to drop down towards the south. Snow is staying right now up towards Canada, but we will see that transition from rain to snow as we go into the late morning hours, and that's going to mainly stay confined to the mountains around 6,000 feet or above. Don't go away. Your full weather coming up next.
As this
And welcome back to Montana this morning. The time is 5:15 on this Monday, on this Labor Day, and an update now on the Bridger Foothills fire burning in Gallatin County. Evacuated Bridger Canyon residents will be temporarily allowed to return home today between 8 in the morning and noon. Now, if you know anyone that's been affected, if you have family or friends in the area, we do have more details on our websites for them, but officials do need to verify that returning individuals do live in that area. According to the National Forest Service, the Bridger Foothills fire is still active, burning over 7,000 acres with 0% containment. Some of the biggest concerns now are winds that are picking up and the fire approaching Bridger Bowl Ski Resort. Officials report dozens of structures have been lost. They are hoping to have a better idea today. Hopefully, though, the weather, I know it's going to be colder today.
Right.
Hopefully that helps with this fire. I know it's a very serious situation in Gallatin County.
Yeah.
My family lives near Bozeman, and we have some family friends on a ranch. And he was saying he had to jump through a window because the fire was going 80 miles an hour.
Oh my
and
gosh.
he had to jump through the window to get to safety. And he was, trying to save his livestock.
Yeah.
It was just insane. So hopefully the weather pans out today. I know winds are a concern.
Yeah, winds are going to be a concern, but the good news is that moisture is moving into the area. So hopefully that will start to allow for our fire officials to start having a containment of that. My thoughts and prayers are with them.
I
And with
know,
everyone
they
there.
ended up being safe. But
okay, good.
Yeah, they got all their cattle out and everything,
Awesome.
but it's a serious situation.
Exactly, yeah. Well, the good news is, let's go ahead and take a look at our relative humidity. We're seeing 93% right now in the Electric City. That is far from, that is great. Definitely farther than what we saw earlier yesterday when we were looking at the teens. I mean, my goodness, we are starting to see that moisture increase from the north, and that's going to be the continuing trend as we go throughout the day. So I'm really excited about that. Problem will be with these winds, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds, sometimes 30, possibly 40 to 45, especially over towards McDonald Pass, 45 to 50 mile per hour winds gusting. So yes, they will be windy. The good news is that the moisture is going to be increasing. Right now we are looking at several showers making their way towards the south and southeast, and that's going to be the continuing trend. Snow is staying right now up towards Canada, but we will see that transition from rain to snow as this rain continues to push down towards the south. Now the snow will only stay really confined to the mountains, really even the higher elevations around 6,000 feet and above that. Browning, I don't think we'll see much of anything, maybe a few snowflakes, but those that are in the winter weather advisor that are along the divide, you guys could be looking at possibly 6 inches of snow when everything is said and done. But most of us, this will be a rain event. So far, we've already picked up 400 of an inch in Great Falls, almost 4/10 in Havre, over in Glasgow and Jordan, around 1/2 inch of rain so far since midnight, and almost 3/10 in Cutbank. We are going to be looking at a cold day today, so make sure that you are putting on your jackets. 48 degrees in Great Falls for your high, as well as Helena, 43 in Lewistown, 53 in Havre, 55 in Glasgow. But the farther southwest you go, let's say out towards Chalice, 76 degrees, so quite the difference. Going throughout the next several hours, we will be looking at most of us seeing rain. Looking at the transition from rain to snow in those higher elevations, again, pretty much along the Great Divide. We're not going to be expecting much snow, though, for the lower elevations, if anything at all. Just possibly a wet and slushy situation for the valleys. Most of us, though, again, will see rain. But then everything clears out by tonight, possibly looking at only a slight chance for maybe a little snow shower for our friends in Helena tomorrow morning. But I don't think that that's going to amount to really anything. How much rain could we be looking at from now, though, to Tuesday, tomorrow at around 3 p.m.? 1/2 inch of rain in Great Falls, 1/2 inch possible in Helena, almost 7/10 out towards Lewistown, 8/10 possibly in Jordan, and another possibly 4/10 in Glasgow, as well as Havre, and 1/2 inch in Cutbank. Again, with the snow, not many of us are going to be seeing that at all, mainly in the higher elevations for the mountains, so don't get your hopes up. If you see a few snowflakes, take a picture, send it to me. I love snow. 29 degrees in Great Falls tonight, Helena 30, 26 in Lewistown, 31 in Havre. We are looking at the next 3 days in Great Falls, warm warming up to around 72 degrees by Wednesday. For our friends in Helena, we are going to be looking at 48 degrees today, rain and windy, some 40-mile-per-hour winds possible, winds gusts. Tomorrow, though, 58 degrees with mostly sunny skies. Keely?
Thanks, Grant. The time now is 5:16 or 17 on this Labor Day. And coming up next, we have some tips for gardeners as this winter weather approaches. How to keep your plants safe. Coming up. And welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time is 5:22 on this Monday, and you've worked all summer keeping your garden growing and your flowering plants in full bloom, but winter weather will soon be upon us. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt tells us how you can make sure your prized plants are protected when temperatures drop this week.
With freezing temperatures in the forecast, how can you make sure frozen plants are not?
It gets down to freezing or just below freezing. You're going to want to protect them
with a blanket or covering of some sort.
You can put a blanket over them. You can buy a ready-made insulate blanket at the store or sheets that you might have on hand that you don't use anymore.
The amount of layers will depend on how many degrees below freezing it is and the degree to which you want to save your crop.
For the most part, our plants are going to handle anything down to about 30 degrees or so.
However, you'll want to protect your more vulnerable plants, like garden vegetables and flowers, by insulating those crops before the projected temperature drop.
You should put a blanket over them while it's still warm out during the day, so it kind of traps the heat in around the plants.
Or if your garden's ready to harvest, now might be the time to prepare for future growth.
Time to put in a couple inches of compost and till it in and be ready for the next year.
If you have any more questions on how to protect your plants during these upcoming cold months, head to krtv.com. Reporting in Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
Oh, it's so beautiful out. I almost hate to see the winter weather come.
Yeah.
But some people do like the colder weather, so I don't want to say like, oh, I hate winter weather, because try to be positive.
Well, the best thing is the lack of humidity, because that's what makes everything, especially coming from South Carolina. So
I can, imagine the difference. But you were also kind of pointing out there, make sure it's not plastic that you're putting on your plants.
Don't put plastic over your plants because it will actually burn the foliage. You learn something every day. I learned a couple things on that too.
I would have never known.
Yeah,
That's
don't
really
do it.
Interesting.
Don't do it.
Don't you do it. Okay. My goodness. Well, it's going to be a cold weekend like we just talked about a little bit. What else can people expect?
Well, it's not only going to be cold with 48-degree temperatures for your highs today, we're also going to be looking at mostly rain, possibly even some mountain snow for those around 6,000 feet and above. So just make sure that you're doing all your necessary things with putting on a coat. And have that umbrella with you.
You might need to have like a little koozie on your beer and like a koozie on your body.
There you go. There you go.
For Memorial Day or Labor Day. But yeah, that's all the time we have right now on Montana This Morning. Of course, we'll be back in just a few minutes with more news. On this Labor Day, how you can keep your plants protected as winter weather moves in. Plus, emergency crews respond to a house fire in the capital city. More from the scene Sunday as a neighbor rushed to save lives. And
Montana This Morning starts now.
From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Keely Van Middendorp, and as you just heard from Grant Garland, Montana This Morning starts now. Oh man, we're filling in for Jason and Shannon today. They're off having an adventure, hopefully not outside. It's cold.
Yeah.
And I feel like they might get rained out. Hopefully they will come back though, and then we can swap out the shift and
right,
they could just take over the show.
Just make sure, you have your umbrella, you have your jacket. You might need to take, I don't know if you're getting used to the cold or cold symptoms, like I'm taking my vitamin C. I am,
So you're preparing.
I'm prepared.
Man,
and
we were talking too, since it's Labor Day, maybe get a koozie on your beer and a koozie on your body. It's
exactly. Just
chilly.
Exactly.
Not like most Labor Days.
No, definitely. We're seeing November-like temperatures right now. We're looking at 40 degrees and plus in a lot of locations. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. We're seeing 45 in Great Falls, 44 in Lewistown, 46 in Havre, 49 in Glasgow. So yeah, November-like temperatures moving in right now and staying with us throughout the day. We are looking at heavy downpours in Malta, Wolf Point, Circle, as well as Jordan. Also out towards the west, Chester, looking at probably Fort Benton getting in a good dose of rain, and also starting to see some rain falling in Great Falls. We've already picked up 4/100 of an inch of that. 5/100 in Lewistown, half an inch or more in Glasgow, and we're getting a good dose of rain pretty much everywhere. But how much more? Well, stay tuned to my full forecast in a little bit. But for now, Keely, back to you.
Thanks, Grant. And staying on the topic of that cooler weather moving in, you worked all summer keeping your garden growing and your flowering plants in full bloom. But winter weather will soon be upon us, as Grant just said. MTN's Lindsay Hyatt tells us how you can make sure your prized plants are protected when temperatures drop this week.
With freezing temperatures in the forecast, how can you make sure frozen plants are not?
It gets down to freezing or just below freezing. You're going to want to protect them
with a blanket or covering of some sort.
You can put a blanket over them. You can buy a ready-made insulate blanket at the store, or sheets that you might have on hand that you don't use anymore.
The amount of layers will depend on how many degrees below freezing it is and the degree to which you want to save your crop.
For the most part, our plants are going to handle anything down to about 30 degrees or so.
However, you'll want to protect your more vulnerable plants, like garden vegetables and flowers, by insulating those crops before the projected temperature drop.
You should put a blanket over them while it's still warm out during the day, so it kind of traps the heat in around the plants.
Or if your garden's ready to harvest, now might be the time to prepare for future growth.
Time to put in a couple inches of compost and till it in and be ready for the next year.
If you have any more questions on how to protect your plants during these upcoming cold months, head to krtv.com. Reporting in Great Falls, Lindsay Hyatt, MTN News.
In our fire watch this morning, a house fire broke out Sunday on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. No one was inside the house except for 3 dogs. Don't worry, those dogs did make it out safely. The fire broke out around 4 in the afternoon. According to a homeowner, a small grill that hadn't been used in over a year had leftover coal, and direct sunlight somehow sparked the fire. Investigators said the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the back side of the house. One of the neighbors, Heath Johnson, noticed the fire and began spraying it with a hose. He was able to get 1 dog out of the house until fire units arrived on scene and saved the other 2. The West Valley Fire Chief says Johnson is a former volunteer firefighter and made a big impact from preventing further damage to the home. And today is Labor Day, and that means more time for a longer weekend. Labor Day celebrates the contributions of workers to American society. The U.S. Department of Labor says it's unclear who came up with the idea, but it started with unions. The Central Labor Union appears to have planned the first Labor Day in New York City in 1882. It became a yearly tradition, and municipalities and states began to officially recognize it. In 1894, Congress made Labor Day a national holiday that falls on the first Monday in September each year. On Labor Day weekend may have looked a little different during the pandemic, but if your holiday plans today include a cookout, you may be tempted to eat junk food. By simply swapping out some foods, you can save yourself some major calories. Oftentimes at a cookout, we can consume more than a day's worth of calories in just one meal. But you can stay on a healthy track by simply making a swap. Try going bunless using lettuce as a substitute with hot dogs or hamburgers. Side dishes can also deliver a blow to your health. Experts say watch out for pasta or potato salads. Next, try a wine spritzer over a frozen margarita. And for dessert, stay away from those store-bought delectables. The experts say you can still enjoy your favorite foods, just do it in moderation. Turning our attention now to the latest coronavirus numbers from around the state. We're seeing just under 8,200 total cases at last check and just over 1,900 active cases. Cascade County is sitting at 373 total cases with 174 active. Lewis and Clark reporting 207 confirmed cases with just 14 active cases. An alpaca named Tyson has been instrumental in the discovery of a tiny particle that can neutralize the novel coronavirus. Alpacas don't get sick like humans do from COVID-19, but the animals do produce nanobodies, essentially fragments of antibodies when confronted with an infection. Swedish scientists discovered one nanobody generated by Tyson in response to COVID-19 that has potential to be used for treatment. This nanobody appeared to quickly and efficiently neutralize novel coronaviruses. They've named the nanobody TY1 in honor of Tyson's contribution, and testing will now begin to see if it is viable to be used in antiviral treatments for COVID-19. And also in our Health Watch, exercise could be detrimental or could have detrimental effects for a person not too far removed from COVID-19 recovery. A JAMA cardiology study details how COVID-19 patients have risks for heart problems. Cardiac MRI testing of 100 adults found nearly 80 had structural changes to their hearts. 6 in 10 were found to have inflammation of the heart muscle that can lead to more serious issues or even deadly outcomes. So factoring in exercise, which can add stress to a heart, heightens the concerns of many doctors. A JAMA study author recommends anyone who's recovered from COVID-19 symptoms to undergo a cardiac MRI so potential inflammation can be found. And it is advised to wait for at least 6 months from symptom recovery before getting back into a rigorous exercise routine. Well, the time is now 5:35 on this Labor Day, and coming up next on Montana This Morning, Lane Nordland joins us for our Montana Ag Network report. Stick around.
Well, and for our friends in Fort Benton, 46 degrees by around 6 a.m., 9 a.m. 46. We're also going to be looking at rain for really the entire first half of our day, so heads up on that. Also, we're going to be looking at just needing to have that umbrella as well for Lewistown, 9 a.m., 40 degrees.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning. The time is 5:38 on this Monday. And in this morning's Montana Ag Network feature, Lane Nordland tells us how Montana ranchers can help a family find a cure for a very rare disease.
3 years ago, 6-year-old Grant Heaton of Warden was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. His father, Paul Heaton, told me there is not a cure for the disease, but they are doing all they can to find one.
Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a genetic disease that causes progressive muscle wasting. It affects 15,000 boys in the U.S. and 300,000 worldwide, so it's really rare. Our son Grant, how his muscles work, break muscles down and build them up stronger, and his break down and turn into scar tissue. So usually boys with Duchenne are usually in a wheelchair around age 12. They generally don't make it out of their mid-20s. We decided to have a cattle sale to raise money for research to try to fight this bugger of a disease.
To find a cure, the Heaton family has teamed up with Billings Livestock Commission to hold the Calves to Cure DMD event. Producers are encouraged to consign a portion of their livestock sale on September 17th to help fund research for a cure.
Somebody can bring in an animal. It don't have to be a calf. It can be a yearling, a bull, an old cow. Kind of our target is anything that's not going to go on a semi that you're going to have to bring to a sale anyways. Bring it to our sale, and the seller gets to pick how much of their check to donate.
The tax-deductible donation goes directly to an organization called Cure Duchenne, which funds groundbreaking research, early diagnosis, and treatment access.
Some people donate their entire check, and that blows me away every time it happens. Some people donate a set dollar amount, like $100 out of their check. It's up to the seller, whatever they can do and want to do. This isn't the type of sale where one calf sells 4 times. You bring in your animal and it sells for regular market price, and then whatever you want to donate.
Producers interested in donating a portion of their livestock sales on Thursday, September 17th at Billings Livestock Commission will need to mark that on their consignment paperwork, and those animals will sell at 1 p.m. Other cash donations and information can be found on the Calves to Cure DMD Facebook page. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Lane. And he says at last year's first cattle sale, $17,000 was raised for DMD research.
Well, good morning, everyone. We are looking at our first hard freeze tonight for many locations. Hard freeze is what we're looking at whenever we're typically seeing temperatures below 28 degrees. As we go throughout the night, many of us will drop into the freezing range by 6:27 in the morning, 30 degrees in Great Falls, 29 in Cutbank, 32 in Glasgow, 27 in Lewistown, and will continue to fall for some time before starting to warm back up throughout the morning. Don't go away. Our full forecast is coming up after this break.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Oh, well, good morning, everyone. I hope that you're ready for a fantastic Monday. That's what we're going to have to get in our minds because it's going to be a cold and wet one. But you know what? It's going to be a fantastic day. It's already windy. You can hear the winds blowing outside. Even though we're seeing 13-mile-per-hour winds, we are looking at some wind gusts. 20 in Cutbank, 11 in Helena, 13 in Lewistown, out towards Glasgow and Jordan around 10 miles an hour. Now, we are going to be looking at a breezy day, possibly seeing 30 to 40-mile-per-hour winds on a consistent basis, possibly 45 to 50 if you're down towards McDonald Pass. So heads up, definitely a breezy day today. The only good news is that we are going to be looking at rain, and that's going to really help our fire situation because we desperately need that. Right now we are looking at heavy downpours in Jordan and Glasgow. You guys have already actually seen over half an inch of rain. Starting to see some moderate rain too in Great Falls starting to fall. Helena still looking at just a few sprinkles, but don't worry, the rain is on the way. So far we've seen almost 3/10 of an inch in Cutbank, over 3/10 in Havre. Again, looking at half an inch or more in Glasgow as well as Jordan, and we are going to be continuing to see this as we go throughout the morning. Temperatures today's highs 48 degrees in Great Falls and in Helena, 46 in Cutbank, 52 in Havre, 46 out towards Hazen, 55 in Glasgow. These are temperatures that we typically see in November. So yeah, just bundle up as you head out the doors today. Have that umbrella as well because we will be looking at rain continuing throughout the next several hours, and then we're going to see that transition from rain to snow in the mountains. More or less, we are also seeing a winter weather advisory for those that are at or above 6,000 feet for possibly up to 6 inches of snow. If we're in the valleys, looking at just a wet kind of slosh. So just, drive carefully. Most of us, though, will just see rain. Again, just a few places we'll see snow along in the mountains in the Rocky Mountain Divide. Going throughout the night, we will start to see our rain end by midnight for Great Falls. Could be looking at just a few snow showers possible in Helena. There's a slight chance. We're not looking at any accumulation, hardly at all, if any. So we don't need to worry about that. Olden in winter, he's just coming to have a little small talk with us with this round, but I'm sure he'll want to stay longer in the coming months. Looking at a ½ inch possible from now to around 3:30 tomorrow for Great Falls and around Helena too. Over 6/10 in Lewistown and possibly getting up to 8/10 in Jordan and ½ an inch in Cutbank. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 29 degrees in Great Falls, Helena 30, 26 in Lewistown. Pretty much we are looking at a frost to we're expecting our first frost advisory, and we're also going to be looking at possibly even a hard frost. So hard frost is anything less than 28 degrees. And we're expecting that in Lewistown. So bring in the plants. That's what we need to say. As we head throughout the next 3 days, temperatures do warm up to 72 degrees by Wednesday with sunny skies. So if you are, like me, like the cooler weather, enjoy today. And if you like the summer, well, hey, Friday is your day. Keely?
Thanks, Grant. The time is 5:45 on this Labor Day, and still to come on Montana this morning, calling all artists. A new event in our capital city is seeking those wanting to get creative during quarantine. Stay with us.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back. Well, Queen City Framing and Art Supplies in Helena is having an art call. They are seeking artwork from Montana artists for an October show. This show is Queen City's version of the trend Inktober, where artists are encouraged to draw every day solely with the use of ink. This year's theme is social distancing. Artists are encouraged to create the art with their interpretation of social distance and do so with ink. The last day to submit is September 7th. For more details on rules and how to submit your art, head over to our websites.
That's interesting.
That's
I'm an artist.
Are
I
you?
like that. Yeah, my favorite medium's,
That's right. I guess
charcoal.
you are like our own little I don't know.
Picasso?
Picasso.
Well,
yeah.
you know what?
I was going to say something with Monet there. But
Oh, Monet.
Yeah, Grant,
okay.
he's very talented at the weather, but his second talent is painting, and especially painting his dog Pongo.
Yeah.
So maybe you'll have to enter this contest.
Maybe. You know what?
I don't know
Why
though if
not?
other mediums are accepted.
Yeah,
So
I've dabbled in some ink, but we'll see.
You got some ink.
I got some ink, and I mean, I got my first tattoo this past, so I got inked.
I
did.
Oh my gosh.
Harry Potter for life.
I was wondering if that lightning bolt on the toe is yours.
I'm telling you, I'm a Hufflepuff.
Oh
but
my word. Okay.
People are like, "What's happening? Is he alive?" Well,
right.
Physically, I'm here. Mentally, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. We're both a little tired.
We're both a little tired.
Weather is going to be the big story today. That's really the only thing on our minds. The only thing our minds can really handle right now.
Yeah, especially when you walk out, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. We've got rain. We've got November-like temperatures. So definitely want to go ahead and bundle up. And we're going to get a look at that radar one last time. 46 in Havre, 45 in Great Falls, 49 in Glasgow, and 47 in Jordan. Just heavy downpours. We've already seen half an inch of rainfall in Glasgow as well as Jordan. And we are on the climb here in the Electric City. Still not seeing any rain droplets yet in Helena. Tonight, expect our first freeze, also hard freeze for those in Lewistown. 31 in Havre, 26 in Hayes, 31 in Glasgow. Heading throughout the next several days, we will be looking at temperatures warming back up, but heads up today, 48. 59 on Tuesday, 72 on Wednesday. So, you know, I'll take that room temperature on Wednesday with sunny skies. You can't beat that with a stick. Pongo and I think, are going to go out to the dog park that day. We are looking at, for our friends in Helena, 48 degrees again today, dropping down to 30 tonight, warming up to 58 tomorrow with mostly sunny to sunny skies.
All right, looking up. Well, stick around. Your Farm and Ranch Report with the Montana Ag Network is next. Emergency crews respond to a house fire in the capital city. More from the scene Sunday as a neighbor rushed to save lives. Plus, it's Labor Day, what the holiday means to our nation's workforce. And later, an update from Campaign 2020 as we look at a series of political ads. Montana This Morning starts now.
From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good Monday morning and happy Labor Day. I'm Keely Van Bittendorp in for Shannon Newth and Jason Laird. Grant Garland joins us this morning as well. Grant, beautiful day, or beautiful weekend, I'm going to say, but it's definitely a different story as we head into this Monday morning.
Exactly, yeah. We were looking at a great weekend, but we are starting off with November-like conditions for our Monday. We're seeing already 45-degree temperatures here in the Electric City, so definitely want to bundle up as well as have that umbrella with you as you head out the doors. Again, this is November-like temperatures in the area right now. 46 in Havre, 44 in Lewistown, 49 in Glasgow, 47 in Jordan, up towards Cutbank and Browning, right around 43 degrees, and 53 in Helena. We are looking at heavy downpours for those in Jordan, Circle, as well as Malta and Wolf Point. Heading out west, looking at some heavy downpours in Fort Benton. Also starting to see some more moderate rainfall in Great Falls. Keely?
Thanks, Grant. We'll check back in with you soon. Beginning tonight with, or this morning, with our top stories. A house fire broke out Sunday on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. No one was inside the house except for 3 dogs. Don't worry, those dogs did make it out safely. The fire broke out around 4 in the afternoon. According to a homeowner, the small grill that hadn't been used in over a year, had been left in the sunlight, and somehow that coal that had been left on the grill sparked, causing the fire. Investigators said that the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the back side of the house. One of the neighbors, Heath Johnson, noticed the fire and began spraying it with a hose. He was able to get 1 dog out of the house until fire units arrived on scene and saved the other 2 dogs. The West Valley Fire Chief says Johnson is a former volunteer firefighter and made a big impact from preventing further damage to the home. Turning now to the latest coronavirus numbers from around the state. We're seeing just under 8,200 total confirmed cases at last check and just over 1,900 active cases. Cascade County showing 373 total cases this morning. 174 of those are active. Lewis and Clark County reports 207 confirmed cases. Just 14 are active there. And new this morning, a coalition of civil rights groups and local governments is trying to force the Census Bureau to extend its 2020 head count. The Bureau was originally supposed to continue the survey through October after the coronavirus put it on pause in the spring, but then the Trump administration pushed the deadline up to the end of this month. Over the weekend, a federal judge in California said the Census Bureau must not start winding down its efforts yet. A court hearing is planned for next week that will fight for the October deadline. And today is Labor Day, and that means some more time for a longer weekend. Labor Day celebrates the contributions of workers to American society. The U.S. Department of Labor says it's unclear who came up with the idea, but it started with unions. The Central Labor Union appears to have planned the first Labor Day in New York City in 1882. It became a yearly tradition, and municipalities and states began to officially recognize it in 1894. Congress made Labor Day a national holiday that falls on the first Monday in September each year. Well, the coronavirus is still in the air and still in the economy. The pandemic is leading to a second round of layoffs. Alicia Nieves reports on what economists say needs to be done to top the spiral.
The United States is at the beginning of a second wave of significant job loss.
We're seeing a resurgence in layoffs.
Daniel Alpert is a professor and senior fellow at Cornell University. Cornell just published a study showing about a third of the people who went back to work during the pandemic now have been laid off a second time. Another 26% of workers have been warned by their employers that future furloughs and layoffs may soon come.
The problem is that you get an echo, right? So if you have a resurgence in layoffs, you have a decrease in spending that creates more contraction on the part of businesses, which creates more layoffs, right? So the question is, when can you put a floor under this spiraling situation? And it is a classic economic spiral.
The cycle of job loss eventually leading to more job loss, some fear could lead to a third wave of unemployment in a few months. Experts like Alpert believe the only way to stop the cycle would be a vaccine or Congress coming together on another stimulus package that props up households and businesses until then.
We're very concerned about the current roller coaster effect on resumed layoffs. But longer term, we are really scared about seeing huge numbers, tens of millions of businesses vanish.
The more waves of unemployment we see, the higher likelihood of that. I'm Alicia Nieves reporting.
And many people don't expect to stop working once they retire, but a new study found 54% expect to have some kind of job when they retire. Of the 1,000 people asked, 56% said they want to keep working for their mental health. 40% said they want the extra income to keep a safety net just in case. The survey also showed that being prepared for retirement remains a goal for most people. 55% said they prefer to save for retirement rather than be completely debt-free now. Well, it's Labor Day in an election year, traditionally the start of busy campaign schedules and preps for debates. But with the campaign already being so divisive, it might be different starting today. Our Joe St. George is in D.C. with a quick breakdown.
Well, down the stretch they come, the candidates, that is. Labor Day has always been a key benchmark for presidential campaigns. So will anything change this year? Well, for one, we expect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to campaign in person more. For the most part, the Biden campaign has been in Delaware during this pandemic. That's going to change. Joe Biden is doing an in-person event in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania today. Kamala Harris is campaigning in Milwaukee. And on Wednesday, Joe Biden will hold an in-person campaign stop in Michigan. The Trump campaign, not surprisingly, they're continuing their travel. Vice President Mike Pence will also be in Wisconsin on this Labor Day. All of this campaigning taking place as we get closer to the first presidential debate on September 29th. But what does history say when it comes to polling after Labor Day? Well, how about this for a fact? Since 1952, every candidate leading 1 week after the last convention has gone on to win the popular vote. That's good news for Joe Biden. But remember, 4 years ago, President Donald Trump was trailing and ended up winning the White House because we elect our presidents through the Electoral College. The biggest change you'll see after Labor Day, more commercials on newscasts just like this. After all, absentee ballots have already been mailed out in some states like North Carolina. More states will be mailing out their ballots in the coming days. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
Thanks, Joe. And speaking of commercials, in Montana's big U.S. Senate race, voters are seeing a deluge of TV advertising. These ads are supporting or attacking either of the candidates, Republican U.S. Senator Steve Daines and his Democratic challenger, Governor Steve Bullock. Earlier this morning, we examined a group of ads attacking Governor Bullock. Now, MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison takes a closer look at ads that are both supporting and attacking Senator Steve Daines for his actions related to China.
Early in his business career, Senator Daines worked for Procter & Gamble, helping set up factories to make and sell the corporation's consumer goods in China. But as portrayed by an ad from the Democratic Senate Majority PAC, that's not something to brag about.
1994, Steve Daines helped an American corporation build factories in China. Then they laid off 4,000 American workers. Next, Steve Daines went to Congress and refused to crack down on unfair Chinese trade practices.
Daines spent 7 years in China, and during that time, Procter & Gamble did close 4 plants in the U.S. and eliminated 4,000 jobs. But the company has said Daines had nothing to do with that corporate decision, and that the job losses weren't because of expansion in China. The ad also refers to votes Daines took in 2015 against bills to crack down on currency manipulation and other harmful trade practices. He says Montana ag producers and others were concerned the bills would lead to harmful trade retaliation measures. As a senator, Daines has taken several trade missions to China and the Far East, and in 2017 played a key role in ending China's 14-year ban on importing Montana beef. But we're also seeing several ads from Daines and his political allies casting him as a thorn in China's side, like this one from the Republican group One Nation.
Daines supported the toughest U.S. tariffs against China in decades and even went to China to tell them that to their face. Now Daines is fighting to hold China accountable for its coronavirus lies and bring manufacturing jobs and medical supply chains home.
Similar ads have been running in battleground U.S. Senate races around the country, portraying Republicans as tough on China. This ad notes that Daines co-sponsored a Republican bill introduced in May that authorizes sanctions against Chinese officials, companies, and students in the U.S. if China is not cooperating with efforts to stop the spread of the coronavirus. It also says the feds can't buy medical supplies or protective equipment from China, and increases a research tax credit for American companies. But there's been no action on the bill since it was introduced. The ad is correct in saying that Daines supports Trump administration tariffs meant to discourage Chinese trade abuses. How much will China be an issue in Montana's U.S. Senate race? I guess Montana voters ultimately will decide that question. But I'm also guessing there may be some other issues on their mind as well. Reporter from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Thanks, Mike. And the Senate contest between Daines and Bullock is likely to smash all Montana records for campaign spending. The time now is 6:08 on this Monday morning, and coming up next, a new facility is looking to be the cat's meow. We'll take you to a celebration in Great Falls next.
Oh, I bet that's perfect. Oh, that was terrible. I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry. By 10 a.m., 41 degrees for our friends in Lewistown. Rain pretty much through the early to mid-afternoon hours. And Cut Bank, we're going to be looking at temperatures right around 10 a.m., 42 degrees, rain pretty much through the early afternoon hours. Don't go away. We'll be back later.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back and good morning. Well, the Helena Civic Center hasn't hosted any live performances since the start of COVID-19 restrictions in March, but that's now changing with several shows planned for this month. On Friday, crews carried in equipment for an evening concert by country artist Chris Peterson. Civic Center leaders say they wanted to provide entertainment, but also make sure they could create a plan that would meet public health guidelines. Only 210 tickets will be sold for an auditorium that normally holds 1,900. The Civic Center's most frequent tenant, the Helena Symphony, is taking a different direction. Music director Alan Scott says public health guidance would make it difficult to have their full orchestra in the hall, let alone an audience. They've decided to stream their performances through the end of the year online.
The concert hall experience is so unique. You can never duplicate or replicate that, nor are we trying to. We're trying to innovate what we do.
They partnered with AARP to set up Home Stream Your Helena Symphony.
And concerts will be shown live on YouTube. The first will be streaming on September 19th. And an animal shelter in Great Falls is one step closer to giving cats at the shelter a better life. The ribbon was cut this past week for Great Falls Animal Shelter's cattery. It's a bigger, brighter room for the cats. While the room is now ready to be used, the shelter still has to raise money for the cat condos the cats will be living in. The condos allow visitors to see the cats from outside the room and allow shelter staff to easily care for the cats.
Over the years, ASPCA standards have changed, Humane Society standards have changed, so there's proof out there that if you increase the size of their living facility, they actually don't stay in shelter environments as long.
Once the shelter purchases the condos, they should take about 3 months to arrive.
Good morning, everyone. Right now, a winter weather advisory in effect until 9 p.m. tonight as we are looking at some possible accumulations of 6 inches of snow, mainly for those at around 6,000 feet or above, and mainly along the continental divide that we're seeing the chances for the snow likely. Right now, currently rain for most of us, 42 in Cut Bank, 43 in Lewistown. The snow is still up towards Canada, but it's making its way down to the south. Don't go away. Your full forecast coming up next.
My name. Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Oh, well, a great Monday morning to you all. Heads up, it's going to be a wet and cold day, but you know what? Our outlook on it can be fantastic. I'm gonna challenge you to do that this morning. It's gonna be a great day. 13-mile-per-hour winds in Great Falls, 11 in Helena, 21 though right now in Cut Bank, and looking close to around 10 in around Havre, Glasgow, as well as Jordan. The main chances for us to see a windy day are really high. We are looking at 30 to possibly 40-mile-per-hour winds for many of us. I know these numbers really don't reflect that, but we are going to be looking at a very breezy day, so heads up, brace yourselves for 30 to 40-mile-per-hour winds, possibly even 50 miles an hour in the valleys. Now, we are looking at widespread showers, and we're going to be seeing this rain continue to push down towards those in Helena as well as Butte and Bozeman, looking at heavy downpours out towards Glasgow and Jordan right now in the mid to upper 40s. In Great Falls, 44, 42 in Cut Bank, 52 though in Helena, 58 in Kalispell. Snow is north though of Kalispell right now, making its way closer to you guys. As far as how much rain has fallen so far since midnight, I mean, it's only been, what, 6 hours and 15 minutes. We've already picked up close to 6/10 of an inch in Glasgow, over 6/10 in Jordan, out towards Cut Bank, over 3/10 and 4/10 in Havre. Only looking at a couple hundredths of an inch of rain here in Great Falls, and Lewistown picking up over 1/10 so far. Helena not seeing anything at the moment, but that will change. Today's highs, 48 degrees. These are November temperatures, y'all. 48 in Great Falls, 48 in Helena, 43 in Lewistown, 46 in Hayes, 54 in Glasgow, and 47 in Cut Bank. We will continue to see the rain kind of start to transition to snow along the mountains. Those that are at or above 6,000 feet, winter weather advisory in effect now until 9 p.m. as we could be looking at accumulations up to 6 inches. Most of us, though, I think will see rain. I think the vast majority of us will see rain. We're going to be looking at, though, the rain tapering off right around 6 p.m. tonight, and we'll continue to see the rain taper off throughout the night. Possibly just isolated snow showers, mainly towards Helena and Lewistown and south by tomorrow morning. Very slight chance. So if you see any, please take a picture and, and tag me in it because I'd love to see that. We are going to be looking at a beautiful day, though, tomorrow. Overall, we could be looking at picking up 1/2 inch in Great Falls as well as Helena, and in addition to what we've seen already, 1/4 inch in Havre, possibly looking at picking up close to 4/10 of an inch more in Jordan. Tonight, temperatures falling down to 29 degrees in Great Falls, 30 in Helena, 26 in Lewistown. We are looking at a widespread freeze and hard freeze and frost for many folks, so you might want to go ahead and bring in the plants to, so that way you don't forget. 59 degrees tomorrow, though. For us in Great Falls, it will be a beautiful day, and we're going to continue to see temperatures warming back up from Wednesday through Friday. 84 degrees there. Keely.
Thanks, Grant. The time is 6:19 on this Monday morning, and still to come, they've got the meat. A fast food chain is saving carnivores in one state a trip to the butcher shop. That story next.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning. Christmas has come early for certain meat lovers. Arby's is selling 3 of its meats by the pound or half pound at 9 Atlanta area locations. It says COVID-19 sparked the idea since people can get the items right from the drive-thru. The cost is about $5 for a half pound and $9 for a pound, and the options include roast turkey, ham, and corned beef. Right now, this is just a trial run that ends later this month. Well, I hope that expands. I mean, that's kind of like, what, 5 locations in Atlanta? That's
yeah, that's not very many. I mean, I get it. It's an experiment.
right.
But
if you have a logo that is as bold as we have the meats, like
get it
dish
to
that
us,
out,
yeah.
right? Like, I don't understand that, especially like Thanksgiving time. They can make a killing getting
as
a
long
pound
as
of
I get the
turkey.
Arby's sauce. If
Right,
I don't get the
yeah.
Arby's sauce, I
The
don't want
horsey
it.
sauce or the-
Yeah, that I don't even know what Worcester.
I must say
no,
this
that's
this segment is not sponsored by Arby's. We're just gonna maybe
We're
move
just
on.
spitballing.
As far as the weather, though, let's talk a little bit about our Labor Day. It's an unusual Labor Day. We're usually out on camping, out of the lake, but it's very different this year.
Here we are.
Yeah.
We're looking at very cold temperatures, November-like temperatures for today, and also looking at rain and some snow in the mountains possible. Going throughout the hours, we're going to be looking at around noontime, 43 degrees in Great Falls, 46 in Helena, 41 in Lewistown. I know.
Wow.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
But this will even hurt worse as we go throughout the night tonight. Temperatures falling down to around 31 degrees for many folks, 30 degrees. Looking at a widespread frost and hard freeze for us, so heads up. But then, you know what, we're going to be looking at temperatures warming up to right around 59 degrees tomorrow, which albeit, it's not the best, but it's better than 48 if you hear me. We're looking at those sunny skies coming back into play starting really tomorrow. As we head throughout the afternoon, the sun will come out, and we're going to be looking at a nice stretch of sun.
So, like, the sun will come out
tomorrow.
That actually applies to this. That's
exactly,
great.
Exactly.
All right. Well, the time is 6:26 on this Labor Day, and don't go away. We'll be right back. Emergency crews respond to a house fire in the capital city. More from the scene Sunday as a neighbor rushed to save lives. Plus, it's Labor Day, what the holiday means to our nation's workforce. And
all the rain is moving in with November temperatures. Montana This Morning starts now.
From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Good morning, happy Monday and happy Labor Day. I hope everybody had a great weekend and enjoyed that warm weather. It seems that that's going to be going away for a little bit. Grant Garland joins us now in the Weather Center. And Grant, you've been saying Old Man Winter is going to be giving us a little bit of a passing wave, maybe just a wink, but nothing
Exactly.
more.
He's going to try to take us on a date, but we're going to say no this time. We're going to be like, yeah, maybe later.
Right?
We got to work some things out.
He's kind of down on the list.
Exactly. Yeah. We're seeing temperatures right now in Keeley in the 40s for a lot of us. Right now, 44 in Great Falls. We're also seeing 42 in Cut Bank, 45 in Havre, 52 in Helena. Widespread rain showers, too. The heavier rain is staying out towards Malta, Glasgow, Wolf Point, Circle, and Jordan, while we are looking at light to moderate rainfall from Cut Bank out to Chester. Fort Benton picking up on a lot of rain, so the Taylor brothers, heads up, it's gonna rain a lot. Great Falls looking at it, also Geraldine. Helena still trying to get some raindrops, but we're not seeing that quite yet. Also, winter weather advisory now in effect for many of us from, well, it was issued about 30 minutes ago, and that goes until 9 p.m. tonight, mainly saying that those that live at or above 6,000 feet that you're expecting to see possibly up to 6 inches of snow. Many of us, though, will see rain, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you, Keely.
Thanks, Grant. We'll, of course, check back in with you soon. Our top stories this morning. A house fire broke out Sunday on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. No one was inside the house except for 3 dogs. Don't worry, those dogs did make it out safely. The fire broke out around 4 in the afternoon. According to the homeowner, a small grill that hadn't been used in over a year had a leftover coal, and direct sunlight somehow sparked the fire. Investigators said the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the backside of the house. One of the neighbors, Heath Johnson, noticed the fire and began spraying it with a hose. He was able to get 1 dog out of the house until fire units arrived on scene and saved the other 2. The West Valley Fire Chief says Johnson is a former volunteer firefighter and made a big impact from preventing further damage to the home. Well, today is Labor Day, and that means more time off for a longer weekend with friends and family. Labor Day celebrates the contributions of workers to American society. The U.S. Department of Labor says it's unclear who came up with the idea, but it started with unions. The Central Labor Union appears to have planned the first Labor Day in New York City in 1882. It became a yearly tradition, and municipalities and states began to officially recognize it. In 1894, Congress made Labor Day a national holiday that falls on the first Monday in September each year. Turning our attention now to the latest coronavirus numbers from around the state. We're seeing just under 8,200 confirmed cases in total at last check and just over 1,900 active cases. Cascade County showing 373 total with 174 active this morning. Lewis and Clark County reporting 207 confirmed cases. Just 14 are active there. Well, many Americans might be traveling this holiday weekend to enjoy the final days of summer, but after seeing spikes in COVID-19 cases after other holidays, health officials are worried the pandemic could get worse if people aren't more careful today. Britt Conway has more.
All that holiday travel, raising alarm bells. Health experts say COVID-19 cases could surge after Labor Day, and that it's up to us to stop it.
We saw a surge after Memorial Day. We saw a surge after the 4th of July. So if that's any indication, we're going to see something similar.
As of Saturday, there were more than 6.2 million confirmed coronavirus cases and 188,000 deaths in the U.S. Officials warn those numbers could spike if Americans on the move this weekend don't take precautions.
We use Labor Day as a way to take the day off, but unfortunately the virus doesn't.
We don't want to go into that with another surge that we have to turn around again. So it really is an important weekend.
That means limiting the number of guests during family and social gatherings to prevent a super spreader event and avoiding gatherings with people outside your bubble of trust. Experts urge college students to remain on campus to avoid going back and forth. While several COVID-19 vaccines are under development, health officials say don't forget to protect yourself against the flu.
We are expecting to see this sort of double surge, if you will, of both the coronavirus and the influenza virus, which can present very similarly.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Meanwhile, a key model from the University of Washington now projects the U.S. could see more than 410,000 total coronavirus deaths by the new year. Well, Labor Day may look a little different during the pandemic, but if your holiday plans include a cookout today, you may be tempted to eat junk food. By simply swapping out some foods, you can save yourself some major calories. Oftentimes at a cookout, we can consume more than a day's worth of calories in just that one meal. But if you can stick to a healthy track by simply making a swap, try going bunless using lettuce as a substitute, for example, instead of a hamburger bun or a hot dog bun. Side dishes can also deliver a blow to your health. Experts say to watch out for pasta or potato salads. Next, try a wine spritzer or a frozen margarita. And for dessert, stay away from those store-bought delectables. The experts say you can still enjoy your favorite foods, just do so in moderation. In our Health Watch here in the Treasure State, Montana counties have partnered with Helena organizations to bring the Bright by Text program to Lewis and Clark County. The program provides parents and caregivers with tips and local resources for children prenatal and age 8 by text messaging. In a press release, United Way states that 90% of brain development happens by age 5. Interactions at this stage in a child's life are crucial for future learning, behavior, and health. United Way says the Bright by Text program will help parents and caregivers make the most out of these interactions by providing ideas, activities, and more. Information on how to sign up is on our websites. And new this morning in Cascade County, while most sheriff's offices within the state of Montana have a reserve deputy program, not all of those programs continue to grow over time. The sheriff's office is using recent struggles within the county and detention center as motivation to do just that. Although the reserve deputy program has been a part of Cascade County Sheriff's Office practically since its inception, its membership has remained in the single digits in recent years. Sheriff Jesse Slaughter plans to expand the reserve deputy force to around 25 members this year, and the hopes he can use the reserve deputies' diverse backgrounds to the office's advantage. Slaughter hopes this will offer volunteers a chance to better understand the role of an officer and give the sheriff's office a chance to learn from the public.
Here at the Sheriff's Office, we don't believe that we are an authority figure over the public. We believe that we work for the public. And what a better way to show that by having members of the public come literally do our job with us.
And we, of course, have more with Sheriff Slaughter on our websites. Well, the time now is 6:36, and coming up next on Montana This Morning, MTN's Lane Nordland joins us for our Montana Ag Network report. Stick around.
Well, and for our friends in Havre, as we continue throughout the day by around 10 a.m., 46 degrees, still looking at a great chance for showers. How about, though, out towards Glasgow? Well, we are actually expecting our temperatures to start to warm up to 52 degrees by 1 p.m. and the rain tapering off between 7 to 10. Don't go away. Your full forecast is coming up soon.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning, and good morning. In today's Montana Ag Network feature, Lane Nordland tells us how Montana ranchers can help a family find a cure for a very rare disease.
3 years ago, 6-year-old Grant Heaton of Warden was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. His father, Paul Heaton, told me there is not a cure for the disease, but they are doing all they can to find one.
Duchenne muscular dystrophy is a genetic disease that causes progressive muscle wasting. It affects 15,000 boys in the U.S. and 300,000 worldwide. So it's really rare. Our son Grant, how his muscles work, break muscles down and build them up stronger, and his break down and turn into scar tissue. So usually boys with Duchenne are usually in a wheelchair around age 12. They generally don't make it out of their mid-20s. We decided to have a cattle sale to raise money for research to try to fight this bugger of a disease.
To find a cure, the Heaton family has teamed up with Billings Livestock Commission to hold the Calves to Cure DMD event. Producers are encouraged to consign a portion of their livestock sale on September 17th to help fund research for a cure.
Somebody can bring in an animal. It don't have to be a calf. It can be a yearling, a bull, an old cow. Kind of our target is anything that's not going to go on a semi that you're going to have to bring to a sale anyways. Bring it to our sale, and the seller gets to pick how much of their check to donate.
The tax-deductible donation goes directly to an organization called Cure Duchenne, which funds groundbreaking research, early diagnosis, and treatment access.
Some people donate their entire check, and that blows me away every time it happens. Some people donate a set dollar amount, like $100 out of their check. It's up to the seller, whatever they can do and want to do. This isn't the type of sale where one calf sells 4 times. You bring in your animal and it sells for regular market price, and then whatever you want to donate.
Producers interested in donating a portion of their livestock sales on Thursday, September 17th at Billings Livestock Commission will need to mark that on their consignment paperwork, and those animals will sell at 1 p.m. Other cash donations and information can be found on the Calves to Cure DMD Facebook page. I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Lane. And he says at last year's cattle sale, $17,000 was raised for DMD research.
Well, right now we are actually starting to see a few snowflakes starting to fall between Kalispell and Cut Bank, but temperatures are still very, very warm. 45 in Havre, 48 in Glasgow, looking at a wide rain shield from Glasgow all the way down to Miles City. Out towards Helena, starting to also see a few snowflakes there. The main trend will be a lot of rain, mountain snow. We're going to have your full forecast coming up in just a second. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Continuing our fire watch this Labor Day morning. An update now on the Bridger Foothills fire burning in Gallatin County. Evacuated Bridger Canyon residents will be temporarily allowed to return home today between 8 a.m. and noon. Now, if you know anyone affected in that area, if you have friends or family, we do have more details on our websites for them, but officials will need to verify that those returning individuals do actually live in that area. According to the National Forest Service, the Bridger Foothills fire is still active, burning over 7,000 acres with 0% containment. Now, some of the biggest concerns now are winds that are picking up and the fire approaching Bridger Bowl Ski Resort. Officials report dozens of structures have been lost. They are hoping to get a better count today. definitely a serious situation in Gallatin County.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier, I've got a friend out there. He owns land out there where the fire had kind of ignited, and he had to smash through like a window to get to safety because the fire was moving like 80 miles an hour, and he, it was just crazy. So.
And those are such life-altering. I mean, everything that changes.
Right.
I know nobody wants to go through that, but you said he was okay?
Yeah, he was okay. He got his cattle out, and he had a lot of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the great thing, too, about these fires. They really show the strength of the community.
Exactly.
Which is great. And hopefully, though, with the weather, many hands make light work, but hopefully we can get this fire a little bit under control.
Right, and like you said, with weather-wise, I mean, we've got some, even though it will be windy, that's the problem, we've got rain moving in, and that's what we desperately need. So let's go ahead and talk about that, shall we? Temperatures right now, 44 degrees in Great Falls, very cold, 42 in Cut Bank, 45 in Havre, 58 in Kalispell, and 46 in Jordan. So kind of a, November-like day, especially playing out. So that's what we typically see, those temperatures around the second week of November. Now, the good thing is with the rain, we've seen our relative humidity levels really just jump, which is great news. That means that we're going to be able to see that moisture moving in, which with any fires, hopefully this will help start to allow our officials to be able to have a better be able to contain them better. We are looking at winds, though, 13 miles an hour here in Great Falls, 21 in Cut Bank. We're seeing some wind gusts too, and that's going to be our problem today. We're looking at winds gusting between 30 to 40 miles an hour. Some locations like McDonald Pass, 45 to 50 miles an hour at times. So it will be a breezy day. The good thing is, though, is the rain. We are looking at heavy downpours from Glasgow down to Jordan, out towards Circle and up towards Wolf Point. Really, since midnight, we've been able to get a lot of rain, over 6/10 of an inch of rain for you all. Now out towards Cut Bank into Chester, looking at still a good bit of rain, really right around north of Geraldine, Fort Benton, seeing that too. And Loma, Great Falls starting to get that, as well as Augusta. We're still waiting for the rain to hit Helena, but don't worry, it is on the way. Want to talk also about the winter weather advisory in effect for us until 9 p.m. for many of our viewers. We're looking at this mainly for those at 6,000 feet and above, where we could be looking at up to 6 inches of snow possible. In the valleys, possibly looking at a wet snow to slush, and we just need to make sure that we are doing our part, driving carefully. I think many of us will just see rain, but still we could be looking at some snow in the mountains. Already since midnight, we picked up over 3/10 of an inch of rain in Cut Bank, over 4/10 in Havre, 6/10 in Jordan, almost as that in Glasgow, looking at over 1/10 in Lewistown, still only seeing 4/100 of an inch in Great Falls. Today's highs, 48 degrees in Great Falls, as well as Helena, 47 in Cut Bank, 43 in Lewistown, and 53 in Havre. Very cold temperatures. We are going to be expecting our winds again gusting between 20 to 40 miles an hour today, so just get ready. We are expecting that, and that's going to be our main concern with our fire threat. But rain does continue to push down towards Helena as we go throughout the morning. Notice that we're going to see more snow, rain transition to snow, mainly along the mountains again, and but most of us will see rain. Old Man Winter, he is just giving us a little hello and then he's leaving. This isn't going to be a big winter event by any means from what we're used to seeing. Rain starts to taper off though by 6 p.m. tonight. Could be looking at leftover snow showers as we head throughout the night for Helena and those in the south around Lewistown. Slight chance though of seeing anything that accumulates. So if you do get a few pictures of some snow, please send them to us, tag us. I'd love to see those. As we go into tomorrow morning, we will be looking at the snow, the light snow that is, if anything is falling, being able to taper off as a high pressure builds in. How much rain could we be getting though from now to around 4 o'clock, 4:30 tomorrow? Well, on top of what we've seen, we could be getting an additional 1/4 of an inch in Havre, an additional 3/10 of an inch in Cut Bank, 4/10 in Jordan, and possibly over 1/10 in Glasgow, and almost 6/10 of an inch in Lewistown. So we are expecting another round of rain. As far as our snow, notice just how it really stays confined to the mountains for the most part, and that's why we had that winter weather advisory out for us. Now, as we go throughout the next 12 hours, we are looking at temperatures right around 10 a.m., 44 degrees, continuing to drop by 1 p.m. to 43. Looking at rain starting to taper off, though, by the late afternoon hours for Great Falls. For Helena, we're looking at really the rain that's sticking around from 10 a.m. through 4 p.m. Temperatures falling down to 45 degrees by 4 p.m. For our friends in Fort Benton, rain starting and lasting really through around 1 p.m. And those in around Lewistown going to see that rain stick around through at least 4 p.m. Now tonight, temperatures are going to be falling down to right around 29 degrees in Great Falls, 30 in Helena. We are expecting a widespread frost, hard freeze. So make sure you're bringing in the plants that are sensitive to the cooler air, because they're going to definitely need to be brought in. Tomorrow's high is 59 degrees in Great Falls, 58 in Helena, 51 in Lewistown, and 54 in Glasgow. We are going to start to see a warming trend, drastically warming up to around 84 degrees by Friday. We are getting a little taste of winter, but summer is right back in play by the end of the work week. Keely?
Thanks, Grant. New this morning, Lou Brock, St. Louis Cardinals legend and baseball Hall of Famer, has died at age 81. Brock was known for his speed on the base paths. The six-time MLB All-Star and St. Louis Cardinals legend died Sunday after fighting numerous medical conditions. Brock played a total of 19 MLB seasons, including 16 seasons with the Cardinals. During his time in St. Louis, Brock finished in the top 25 of voting for the National League MVP for 6 straight seasons. He started his career with the Chicago Cubs before the club traded him to the Cardinals in the middle of the 1964 season. Brock is the second Hall of Famer to die in the last week. Mets legend Tom Seaver passed away last Monday at 75.
Coming up, 200 evacuees rescued by helicopter over 12 hours from a fast-moving California brush fire. Plus, how the pandemic is financially impacting the economy of college football towns. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
Welcome back to Montana This Morning, and happy Labor Day. We are about 8 minutes away from the top of the hour. Here's Grant Garland joining us. We're filling in, so we're just kind of getting used to this. So
I thought
he's
that
going to join us for the day's top stories. Today is Labor Day, and that means for many of you a long weekend. Labor Day celebrates the contribution of workers to American society. The U.S. Department of Labor says it's unclear who came up with the idea, but it started with unions. The Central Labor Union appears to have planned the first Labor Day back in 1882. It became a yearly tradition, and municipalities and states began to officially recognize it. In 1894, Congress made Labor Day a national holiday that falls on the first Monday in September each year. Well, Labor Day may look a little different today because of the pandemic, but if your holiday plan includes a cookout, you may be tempted to eat junk food. However, if you stay on a healthy track by simply making a swap, try going bunless using lettuce as a substitute for burgers or hot dogs. That saves you some carbs and calories. Experts say to watch out for pasta or potato salads, and for dessert, stay away from those store-bought delectables. Turning now to the latest coronavirus numbers from around the state, we're seeing just under 8,200 total confirmed cases at last check and just over 1,900 active cases. Cascade County showing 373 total cases. Lewis and Clark reporting 207 cases today. And in Great Falls, an animal shelter is one step closer to giving cats at the shelter a better life. The ribbon was cut last week for Great Falls Animal Shelter's cattery. It's a bigger, brighter room for cats. While the room is now ready to be used, the shelter still has to raise money for the cat condos the cats will be living in. The condos allow visitors to see the cats from outside the room and allow shelter staff to easily care for them. Once the shelter purchases the condos, they should take about 3 months to arrive. And the USDA has extended its summer meal program through the end of the year in Helena, or until funding runs out, a change that will guarantee meals for students at no cost to their families. The summer meal program extension will bring free meals to every child regardless of economic ability, and even if they're not in school. If they're 18 or younger, they qualify. Pickup locations will be posted on the Helena School District website, and signs will be posted at each location indicating where food can be picked up from. And the Helena Civic Center hasn't hosted any live performances since the start of COVID restrictions in March. The center's most frequent tenant, the Helena Symphony, is taking a little bit of a different direction. Director Alan Scott says public health guidance would make it a little difficult to have their full orchestra in the hall, let alone an audience, so they have actually decided to utilize technology. They're going to be streaming their concerts and performances online through YouTube. Of course, all that information can be found on our websites. Also, another top story this morning, a house fire broke out Sunday afternoon on the corner of Pintail Court and O'Reilly Drive in Helena. According to the homeowner, a small grill that hadn't been used in over a year had leftover coal, and direct sunlight somehow sparked the fire. Investigators said the grill burnt through the back deck of the home and began to burn the backside of the house. No injuries were reported.
Well, let's go ahead and take a first look outside. Looks to be a little cloudy in Helena, out towards Fort Benton as well. We're seeing some raindrops. Still looking very dark in Lewistown, out towards Hayes as well. We are expecting temperatures to continue to drop throughout the day. By around, get this, lunchtime, we're going to be seeing temperatures right around 43 degrees in Great Falls, 46 in Helena, 41 in Lewistown. And going throughout the night on tonight, we are expecting a widespread freeze and some places hard freeze, so definitely want to make sure that we are keeping our plants in if they are sensitive to the cooler air. We're looking at tonight overall 29 degrees in Great Falls, 26 in Lewistown, 32 in Havre. Tomorrow we'll be waking up and it will warm up to around 59 degrees in Great Falls, 51 in Lewistown, 47 in Havre, and 54 in Glasgow. Overall, over the next 3 days, we are expecting temperatures to warm up to 72 degrees on Wednesday for Great Falls. We just got to get through Old Man Winter trying to say hello. He's passing by, don't worry. And then for our friends in Helena, 71 degrees on Wednesday. We will start to see that warm up, but definitely we just got to get through today. Have that umbrella, have that
like you said, it's a positive attitude, right?
That's it. That's it, you know.
Challenge yourself to love the day, and you know, it's a different Labor Day, but it's kind of nice. That way it'll stand out a little bit, and you'll remember that year maybe a little bit more than others.
So. Yeah, I'd say so. This year in all, it's just been one thing. I mean, it's Labor Day. We're working.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Also, a good thing to remember: if you do have any plants outside, any tomato plants, flowers, things like that, maybe be sure to cover those up, bring those inside. We have some tips and, of course, the forecast on our Storm Tracker weather app.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't cover those plants with plastic because it burns the foliage. Just just make sure.
I had no idea. So what is the foliage? Is that like?
It's the leaves.
Flower petals?
It's the leaves. It kind of acts. The plastic as like a magnifying glass. It really heats up and it just.
Wow.
Yeah.
So basically, you want to cover your plants, keep them warm, but not too warm.
Yeah. Just don't put plastic on them. Cover them up with blankets.
Okay, maybe
they need a hug.
Not a heavy blanket.
Hug your plants with blankets.
They need a little bit of love, a little bit of warmth in the next week or so. So, of course, you can stay up to date with the latest weather updates on our Storm Tracker weather app. Of course, we have the forecast as well on our websites, KRTV, KXLH, and the CW. So that's all the time we have today on Montana This Morning. Thanks so much for watching and putting up with us. Shannon and Jason will be back tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good morning.